stream has started. Let's see if Facebook accepts the stream. Yes, they have. Let's see if Twitch accepts the stream. Yes, they have. Has YouTube accepted the stream? Yes, they have. Now, I have to wait for Facebook to give me the link. Okay, Facebook has sent me the link. I'm going to go get it on my input here. Now I have the link. Now I go to Ginger's page and I put it on there?
Yes.
Okay.
Virginia Ginger Kerwin McIntyre.
Okay, it says write something to Virginia. Just put down the link, nothing else?
Yeah, just put down the link.
Okay.
That
Cool.
I think that's what you usually do.
Yeah. And it says it is in the process of being posted, and it is now posted.
Okay, cool.
So
Great.
if you look on your phone, you should see yourself live.
Okay, well,
Just make sure the sound is turned down, because then you'll get a feedback loop.
It's all right. My phone, I trust you, Richard. We're just going to leave it like that. You do it every month for me.
Okay.
I so appreciate it.
Peace, that's you.
There we are. We're back now. It's like, what happened?
Okay, so I don't see any reason why we can't begin.
Can we? Are you ready to begin?
Right.
Okay, we're ready to begin.
Okay, now you see in Bunny's box there's a 5.
Yep.
When that gets down to, you're on the air, okay? That sound good?
Sound good.
All right, here we go.
Hi, welcome to Illuminating Forward, the podcast. I'm Virginia McIntyre, evidential medium, psychic, and spiritual alchemist. And tonight we have a real treat for you. We have Bunny Dupois, and Bunny is a psychic medium, a soul aura reader, and this is very, very important. We're going to talk about auras tonight. And she's also a medical medium, and she's a mental medium. So we're going to be accepting calls tonight. And you can call in at 716-202-8430, and she will give you, a mini reading. Just answer 1 or 2 questions, not a lot. But so feel free to call in at 716-202-8430. 8430, and we're going to start off the conversation. Bunny, is there anything? Let's first talk about how people can get a hold of you, and then we'll do it again at the end.
Okay. People can get a hold of me through my website, which is www.bunnydupois.com, and there's information on how to schedule at that point in time.
Okay, now how do you spell your name? Can you spell it all out for people?
All right, it's Bunny. Last name is D as in David, U, P as in Paul, U, I, S as in Sam.
Okay, now, what would you say, because we're just going to have a conversation here, and if people call, they call. If they don't call, they don't call. So what would you say is an aura? What would be your definition of an aura in your own words?
Auras, there's different types of auras, which is part of the reason why I have soul auras. Auras are that most mediums see, or psychics that they talk about, are aligned with your chakras. And the chakras are different parts in your body that, if they're out of place, it can affect your aura. So auras are technically, I would say, electrical fields And so each color has a different electrical field. So that's what basically auras are, that you see around your body. When you go and get an aura picture taken, most of those aura pictures are a picture of you right then and there.
So it might not be your aura the next day.
No, it could change.
Now, the soul auras, do they change?
No.
They're the same from birth.
Yes.
And that's what you read.
Yes.
Now, would you say that an aura is an energetic signature? I read that term and I was so turned on by it. I thought that was a great way. I thought that was a great way to explain
Yes,
it.
it's energy that you're born with, and it's in the colors that you have there are like the lesson that you have to learn while you're in this body at this point in time. And then when you leave and you're reborn, then you'll get another set of soul colors.
Okay. Now, so does everybody have the ability or potential to read an aura? Because I know that I really can't read them.
The kind of auras I read, I've not run into anybody else that can do what I do.
Okay.
The general auras, there are people who are qualified, and I say qualified because they've taken courses and they have a natural ability towards reading auras. And those would be the auras that you see when your chakras aren't aligned.
Now, since I was going to have you on as my guest, I started researching auras and doing this stuff. And they were saying, if I look at my hand under a white piece of paper like such, and I blur my vision, like I stare, and I blur my vision, then I could see like a little aura around my fingers, which I did. I was able to do that. But as far as reading another person, I don't know. Well, that's a gift that I don't have.
I guess I'll go into some of my background.
Oh, please do.
When I was a little girl, I always said that I had a sister. And my mother said, no, you don't have a sister. Well, then come to find out, when I was 5 years old, I found pictures in the back of this closet that were in a book that I wasn't supposed to get into. And inside that was a picture of me in a fancy bed. And I took it out to my mother, and this is Halloween, no less. I took it out to my mother and said, where's my fancy bed? And she says, what are you talking about? And I showed her the picture. She literally turned white and said, that's not you. That's your sister.
Well, I'm getting chills.
And so at that point...
So I know what you're saying is true. I'm getting gad bumps. Okay.
Yeah. So at that point in time, I just looked at her and said, why did you tell me I didn't have a sister? And I said, so where is she now? And she said, well, she died.
Oh.
And we're filling up those little candy bags with the bones and the skeletons in the graveyard. And I said, so you're telling me my sister's bones? And she goes, well, maybe. And I'm just like, you lied to me. So I got really furious about it.
Yeah, of course you did.
Because I always knew I had a sister, and they kept telling me I didn't. So
Well, children know things.
Right. So I was really connected, and I found out later through my grandmother. I found out a bunch of stuff. But what ended up happening, though, I was so upset. I went into my bedroom, and we were staying at my grandfather's house because he just passed. And so we were there at his house. And I laid down on the bed, and I was crying and crying and crying.
Aww.
And all of a sudden, everybody's heard about Jacob's Ladder.
Yes.
Well, a staircase opened in front of me, and a man met me there and took me up the steps to meet my sister. And we played in a field, and it was very joyous. And then he says, well, now you have to go back. That man was Jesus Christ. And so that ended, and I've always had that connection. And I've met my sister numerous times through near-death experiences.
Now, was she your twin sister, or was she older
She
than you?
she was my identical mirror image
Twin.
twin.
Getting God bumps again.
Yeah. So after that, it was like the bells and whistles and everything went off, and I was a full-fledged medium.
Now, how old were you at this point?
4.5, 5 years old.
Yeah, that's what they say, that what happens is, it's the same thing with creativity, that when a child is more in tune to their intuitive side and whatever, and by the time it goes into school, which is geared towards the Industrial Revolution and working in factories, they kill creativity and they kill intuition. So this is all very, very normal. Very,
Yep.
very normal. You're either raised in a family where this sort of thing is encouraged, or you're raised in a family which is mainstream America, where it's squashed.
Right. So my mother, was taken back by all of that.
Oh, she was probably scared.
My mother was a medium also, but she blocked it because of some issues that happened to her when she was younger. So
Something like my grandfather.
So just blocked it off. And so for my 5th birthday, probably, well, I was 4.5. So it was about my 5th birthday, might have been my 6th birthday. My mother gave me an Ouija board.
Really?
Yes.
I've never used one.
So I was using one. I couldn't even spell. So
What a riot. What a riot.
So I was foretelling future stuff, messages. I knew stuff I wasn't supposed to know. And when I was like 6 and we moved to another house, I was literally, I would fly at night. So
You did astroplaning.
astroplaning, and I would go downstairs and hear more than I should have heard, but I would be going all over the place. I wasn't very good at the landings at that point in time.
What was going on with the landings, Bunny? Really? And you'd wake up and stuff, right?
Oh yeah, it was like all of a sudden it would be like,
Oh, wow.
I
Wow.
re-entered. So the auras, I started seeing those when I was like 4 years old, and I would look out at trees.
That was gonna be my next question.
Yeah.
Do trees, animals,
yes,
whatever?
yes. So I looked out at trees, and I could see things on the trees, and I could see every vein in the leaves. And I'm talking about trees outside a second-story window that are not up against the house. And so I kept seeing them, and I kept asking my mom what was the glistening that I kept seeing. I called it it reminded me of glitter, but so I just called it the glissy. So that's what I ended up calling it. And she said, I don't know what you're talking about. I can't see anything. But I would see it all the time. And she says, oh, well, it's because it's raining. No, I could see it even when it wasn't raining. So it was just one of those things that I could always see.
Oh,
And
okay. So yeah.
So I always could see it. And then throughout my life, there was times where I had to shut down all my gifts because it wasn't safe. And
Which is
Right.
really, that happens to a lot of people.
right. So I still could see them. It was really interesting that then I came out to New York from Michigan about
Dundee, Michigan.
not far from Dundee, Michigan.
And I have a connection to Monroe, Michigan. So
Right. Well, that's
no,
where my ancestors are from, is Monroe.
that's amazing, amazing.
So I ended up, I was always fascinated by aura pictures because I had gone to this down in Cobo Hall in Detroit. There had been a big fair, and then somebody had a Kirlian camera there. And this was back when Kirlians first started to hit the scene. And so I went in and had my picture of my hand done. And when I got done, the guy pulled me aside and said, are you just joking me? And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, you're a medium. Don't you know that? And I said, well, yeah, I do, but I don't tell anybody.
I remember one day you told me that you'd come out of the closet.
Yeah.
You just told me that one day we were in a class together.
Yeah.
And you go, I just want you to know I came out of the closet. I was like, so I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, what did she come out of the closet as? Because it could be anything, right? I was
Right,
like,
right.
And then you told me as a medium. I'm like, oh, good for you, Bunny. I'm really happy for you.
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
a really joyful time.
Yeah. So, as time went on, I had this Aura camera. So I went and bought an Aura camera and was using that at shows and stuff. And one day, and I kept knowing what results were going to be. So then one day, the electric went out at a show, and I started reading auras, and then. What I discovered later is that everybody kept saying, well, your auras change. And I'm going, no. The ones I see don't change. They never change. They're there. And so I'm sitting in a class. Well, I went to watch my daughter get her priestess with Dan Cheeseborough. And so I'm sitting there, and they're talking about auras and stuff, and I got smacked up the back of my head and heard in my head, what you see is soul auras. Now just get on with it. So I took it as, oh, guess what? God just told me.
I love it. God has a sense of humor.
Yeah, right.
Get on with it.
Yeah, so get
on
on with it. So I went, okay. So I've been doing soul aura readings all along, but didn't realize that they were what they were. I
Right.
just knew they didn't change, that this is what you were born with.
Right, that's what you're born with. Right. And so when we talk about karma and we talk about soul contracts, how does this all play in together? Can you explain that kind of like maybe you know?
Well, soul contracts, you pick who you're going to be with,
Right.
unfortunately, but it has to do with lessons. Now, in past lives, because I've done some Akashic records, so I know in a past life that my daughter was my mother.
Interesting.
And in a past life, my father was my son, and I was his dad.
That's what they say.
And so it's just a kind of thing.
Interchangeable, yeah.
Right. So it's just until whatever needs to be met is met. Mm-hmm. Now, the partner I have right now, he and I were around in the Middle Ages.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, does he know this?
Yes.
Okay.
I won't go into details because I don't want him going, what the hell are you doing putting all stuff out there?
All right, well, that's understandable. Some people are pretty private. Some people are pretty private.
Right.
So now, your auras are unique to you, correct? And they're part of your soul plan?
Yes. The auras I see are what you're born with, and they don't change. And what it is the lesson that you need to learn while you're in this package.
All right. Now, if you know what your auras are, that can help you make,
good decisions.
Good decisions, right.
Because if you have a certain color aura and you're not doing what that aura, because I know what you should go into. I've been doing this long enough that I know what kind of careers you should be in. Mm-hmm. And if you get into a career where you're not doing something right, then you're going to have all these super, super bad bumps in the road and have more problems than normal.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Okay, and if you know your aura, it can help you control your present life. Do you think?
It tells you.
And future. Do you think maybe?
Yes, because if I'm a blue and a green. So I gave you a little
I got a little cheat sheet here
Right,
just for the viewers.
Right.
I got a little cheat
Right.
sheet here.
So what I discovered is blues are peace-loving and tranquil.
That's me.
Blues wish for harmony and ease in their environment,
That's me.
but we need time out because we are always in our brains, so we have to have downtime.
I do, and as I get older, I need more of it.
And if you don't, then things kind of go a little haywire for you. Others often come to blues for advice. So people who are blues, yeah. And
My whole life story. People at
Right.
bus stops.
So blues are very spiritual and often have psychic abilities.
I'm psychic.
Yeah,
You're
I am
psychic?
too. Right.
Okay, now green, because
Those are natural healers
that's
and
me
teachers.
too. That's me, just so you
Right,
know.
and
That's
me too. So we're hardworking, and
Uh-huh.
we want life to be organized, and we secretly love attention and love new beginnings.
I love new beginnings.
We're excellent teachers, counselors, and maybe a business owner. We have a gentle strength. Now, what's interesting with blues and greens, blue people have a hard time normally going to grocery stores and stuff because
I hate it.
they pick up on everybody's energy.
Oh, is that why I
Yes.
hate grocery shopping?
Yes.
I can't stand
And
it.
it's because we're a lot of blues, I would say 90% of them are empaths.
Empaths, yeah.
And I've learned that empaths, you can't block it out. You have to walk through it. So it's like the yin and the yang, the positive and negative. You have to be able to be a whole person. And if you're always up high, then you're crazy. And if you're always low, you're depressed. So you have to walk that walk and be in the middle.
This is sound advice, Bunny.
Yes.
Sound advice.
So blues always have people coming to them for advice.
It's true.
And it doesn't make any difference
And
what you're
people
doing.
get angry when I don't give it to them.
I go to grocery stores and people will, and
Over the tomatoes.
I am so, when I go to a grocery store, if I touch somebody or look at them, I know exactly what's going on with them. And so I just accept that and lose that. And I have a little trick I can share with people who have that issue. So with a blue and a green, then like I said, greens are healers and teachers, and so the two together are really great. I had a client who was a blue and a green, and she taught special ed and specialized in autistic children, and she had one student who always called her Mrs. Blue. And that wasn't her last name.
Right.
He could see her aura.
He could see her
And
aura.
when she was around, he knew stuff, was a fantastic kid. If she couldn't be in school, he got really upset and wanted to know where Mrs. Blue was because she was that tranquil, peaceful person that he clung to.
Well, they say that children of autism really thrive on routine.
Well, it's routine too, but I think a lot of them have special gifts.
Children know.
Right, and they just...
Children know.
Yeah.
I have used my energy in the Buffalo Public School System. I can tell the story of she was like a preschooler running down the hallway, and one of the behavior specialists were coming after him, and he was telling me to catch her. Well, the last thing you want to do with a child that's acting like that is to stop them because it'll escalate. So I just used my energy. And you know what? She went halfway up the stairs and she stopped.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and goes, "How did you do that?" And I said, "Do what?"
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Right, I just said, "Do what?" I didn't do anything. Right. Right. So animals have auras too.
Yes, anything has auras.
Now, can you see them on animals and plants and whatever and trees?
Yeah.
Really?
I see them so much that I don't even pay any attention to them. And it's like, because I just see them all the time.
Because you've been doing this your whole life.
Right, and so I don't, and people say, well, how can you tell? I can do it over a phone because it's energy.
Right.
And so I can read the energy over the phone.
Right.
I have a couple of clients I've never seen in person. Never seen them in person. I only read them through the phone.
Now, and this isn't through like video chat
Nope.
or anything like that? This
Nope.
is just right through the phone?
Just the phone.
Well, that's why they say energy healing can go anywhere, anywhere
That's
too.
right.
Because it's energy.
Right.
Okay, so now, so an aura is also a vibration, correct?
Right. All colors have, and I don't have the list with me, but each color has a different vibration.
Really? Okay.
You know, it's like when you look at a prism.
Yeah.
Okay, so you look at a prism, but there's numbers associated with the colors.
This is true. This is true. Okay, so every color has a vibration.
Right.
Now, do certain colors work better with different colors? Like you know how like with horoscopes, you have one horoscope that would probably work better with another horoscope. Does it do the same thing with your auric fields? Or
Well, it's most of the time, you know, I can see three aura colors come together, and sometimes it's not like they're together. A lot of people I see have yellow, which is on top, like the layer above, and then they have blue and green coming down them. So they're highly intelligent. And their biggest problem is, and they get along with everybody, but they do not like anybody to take credit where credit isn't due. And they won't say anything nasty to the person, but they'll go home and they'll rant and rave about it.
yeah.
And so they have a problem because yellows have a tendency to be like Energizer rabbits, and they can go and go and go. But the blue part of them can't. So they're the ones who end up being able to do everything. But if they don't take that time to recharge their battery, then they're having problems. So they have a tendency to be really high up doing things, and then all of a sudden they don't understand why they're exhausted and they can't get their energy back.
That's me. Okay. Now, would you say, like when you walk into a room,
Yep.
and you can sense
Yep.
the feeling in the room.
Yep.
Is it true about people that walk into a room that you can sense their energy level? Like it's like your auric field is like your introduction to the world of who
Right.
you are being that moment.
Yep.
Except for your soul reading. Your soul reading, it never changes.
No.
Okay.
No, it's the energy, and it's like I really pick up on energy. So I'm not a person who likes to go to big parties. I can do them, but I have a tendency to be more of an introvert, or I'm an amnivert. I can be an extrovert when I want to be, but I'm happy home sitting on my couch in my jammies watching TV.
Okay, all right. So now, let's go through the colors, shall we? We
Okay.
have these colors here. Now, tell me about violet.
Okay.
You're magical. I want to be violet.
Violets are rare. There's not a whole lot of violets.
They're like Merlins?
Kind of. They're violets are magical, and they're all about God.
Oh.
So they're the love from God is part of them. Most people who are violets have a tendency to be very religious, even though they might not go to church. They have more of a commune with God, and they feel connected to God. They also will be pulled towards magic, mysticism, because that's part of them also. So their whole big thing is if they could, they would make a rainbow around everybody and give peace and love. Now, pinks are a dilute of that. And pinks, and I've only seen I think it was like a 54 out of all the times I've been doing readings, 54.
Only 54?
Only 54 pinks. And pinks are almost like little pixies, fairies. They kind of got that kind of energy. And they're very bubbly, but they're here solely to give love. That's what they can do anything they want in the world, but they're all about love.
The pinks.
The pinks.
Little pixies and fairies. Okay.
Yeah. Now, whites, they have a tendency to, and the only white that I have ever read, and I didn't know it at the time, was a nun.
Wow.
I mean, she just radiated peace and love and kindness and everything, and I was just like, wow.
Wow.
And she was a nun.
Your highest goal is to find balance and inner peace and develop your relationship with God the Creator. When I was in the military, I think I was 19 at the time, and I was sitting at a desk. I was in the office by myself, and this big, huge guy with a bald head comes in, and he goes, "You have a white aura." Now, I didn't know what he was talking about. He scared me. I was like, whatever. And then he said to me, "Don't be afraid. I don't mean to hurt you or alarm you, whatever." And took off, and I never saw him again. So I called my mother, and that's how I found out about auras. I said, "What was he talking about? This guy? He scared me." And she goes, "Don't worry about it." She explained it to me what auras were and whatever. Right. And she said, basically what you say, that everybody's got them, their energy or whatever.
Right.
But that's what he said. He said that I hit a white one that day.
At that day, you were helping somebody with God's work, and you probably didn't even realize it.
No, well, I was working in an office where I was an investigator, so that's exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
Exactly what was going on. Because I was investigating, dastardly deeds.
Yeah. So now, as I said, blues and greens. I see a lot of blues and greens together. People who are blue are the calm port in the stormy sea, so a lot of people who need assistance and help will come to blues. Greens, again, are natural healers and teachers, so when you get the blues and the greens together, they have a tendency to go into vocations where they're helping people. Doctors, lawyers, nurses, teachers, bartenders, as weird as it is, hairdressers, aides that help
social
people,
social
workers, anything like that. That is just the way it works. If we don't go into, and the other thing that's interesting is blues are really good with bookkeeping.
Really?
Even though they don't like it. They can have a small business, they can have a business, but they're always the ones who find problems or figure things out, because blues are sequential thinkers. So they use their right brain and their left brain at the same time.
This is fascinating.
And has been doing it forever. So they go back and forth between the both hemispheres of their brain, and so there's not really anything that we can't fix. So I call blues two fixers. They're the fixers.
Oh, all right. Okay. We have some people communicating with this, Bunny, just for a minute.
Sure.
We have Jenny De Jesus saying hello. Jenny and I are doing a sound bath
Oh,
at
wonderful.
the Sage Center on November 19th from 7 to 8 p.m. And we're only charging $20 because we want to make it open for a lot of people.
Right.
And Mick Rambo, Mick, I told you about Mick. That's why I have a podcast.
Yep.
He's doing tarot cards tomorrow night. Well, his girlfriend's doing tarot cards. Mick doesn't read tarot cards. His girlfriend does. All right, and Jenny says that she was told that once too, probably about the white aura. I think that's when they came on, is when we were talking about the white aura.
Right.
So Jenny is she's been taking classes with Celeste, and that's when I first met you, when you told me you were coming out of the closet as a medium. we had taken a class at Santosha together.
Yes, that's right.
With Celeste Elliott.
Yeah.
Well, Jenny's been studying with her for the whole past year.
Oh, great.
On online, and so. and Mick here, he says, yes, she does better than me. And that's what he said about the tarot card readings. Yeah. So
now I just heard a click, snap. That's what I'm hearing.
Oh,
A
you're.
click, snap was just outside of this on my right side.
Really, maybe there's something there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something there. Yeah. I see a face.
Yeah.
I see a face.
And then did you notice the light just went bloop, bloop?
This is so much fun, isn't it? Jenny's going, yeah, she sees it too. I just heard it too.
Yeah, we're snapping.
I just heard it too.
Yeah.
But the face is gone now, so yeah.
Snapped in and out.
I heard it like really loud right over here. Really loud. Okay. Jenny, I think Jenny saw the face because she's saying yes. Okay, all right.
I can't see the face because, well, actually, I probably could if I was looking.
I
at
didn't.
it, but
I didn't look at the screen. I looked at your. It was right over your shoulder. Your right shoulder. Yeah. So.
well,
okay.
it's probably one of my, as Tim Shaw says, I have an entourage.
And the lights just blinked again.
I know.
Okay. Now the auras. Back to this. Now I have these great sentences written down, so I gotta play with them, folks. All right. So it says here, auras are the way in which you are energetically programmed to carry out your important life work. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. All right. She agrees with my sentence.
Oh, I got to tell them about sherbet people, though.
Oh, yes. We got to talk about sherbet people because Richard is a sherbet.
Yes. Right.
Okay.
So sherbet people, I started calling them sherbet people because they're a combination of orange, yellow, and red, kind of like mixed together. And who doesn't like orange sherbet? Everybody that I know. I've not met anybody who doesn't like orange sherbet.
Oh, I love orange sherbet.
So orange sherbet people are really well liked, and they love other people. They're highly creative. They're really artistic. They're just into a lot of really neat things. Though orange sherbets, they have high intelligence because that's what yellows do, and then they have a little bit of red in them. So orange sherbet people have a tendency for going into work. They have a tendency to like to go into electronics. They like to go.
Richard.
They like to go into creating programs.
Richard, are you listening?
So I mean, that's what they like to do, and they're
creative.
big,
Yeah.
the one big thing that they don't like is they start something, they want to finish it. They don't like anybody else stepping in to finish it. They can be the leader and tell everybody how to do it, but they will not say, okay, you can work on my program. It's like you have to be invited in, and it's like if I start this, I'll finish it, and then you can copy what I did. So that's the type of person. And the red part of them has a tendency to come up when they're totally frustrated or take something personally, and it hurts their heart.
Oh.
And then they'll kind of like spew out bad things, and the minute they say it, they go, oh my God, I didn't mean that, it didn't mean that, and they have to try to reel it back in. So sometimes they lose their cool, and then they feel really bad that they did that.
Oh.
So that's a sherbet.
So Richard's a sherbet. Mick, are you still on? Are you still listening? Richard's a sherbet. We're hoping that you're still here.
Yeah, something coming over the audio.
That's what Mick said about the clicks. We figured that one out, but we think it's more than an electrical faux pas. Okay, just so you know. I could hear something, didn't see anything though. Yeah, well, I saw it right over his shoulder, and it was a male, and it was a friendly face. So, but he's gone now. but at least he's gone from me seeing. But wow, this could be a teaching moment. When spirits materialize, they only stay for a minute because it's so very hard for them to materialize. They can't keep the vibration.
Right.
So you only see them like when you see that fleeting shadow out the corner of your eye. It's fleeting not because it's not real. It's fleeting because they can't hold the vibration of you seeing them.
I've only had one apparition that stuck around for a minute and a half.
Really, I didn't time mine. I had one in my bedroom.
And this one was, I was getting ready to do some readings, and I pulled into my driveway, and I thought there was a man standing there. And he came up to my car and says, I want to know how my car is doing. You got to ask them, where's my car?
Oh my God.
And so I could see the camels in his shirt. I could smell it on his breath. Could see it on his hands. And I said, okay, I'll do that. What's your name? So he gave me his name. And then he turned around and started walking out towards the road because I lived out in the country. He didn't have any more of the body. There was only the top part of his body.
We got great stories to tell people. We have great stories to tell people. That is a great story, Bunny. I have a story where I was laying in my bed, and you notice how you sense a presence, right?
Yeah.
So I sense somebody staring at me. I look up, and there's a spirit in my bedroom with his own chair. And he's sitting there, and I'm like, ah! So then he vanished. So and that night, this is when my mentor, John White, was alive. And he was one of my mentors, and he's been one of my mentors. And he was alive, and he had his radio show that night. So I called in because I had to talk to him.
Right.
I was like, oh my God. So his girlfriend answers the phone, and I told her, I got to talk to him. I had this guy in my bedroom.
Right.
So she goes, well, you got to put it forth in a question. What's your question? I said, well, how can I get them to stick around so I can ask them who they are? So John White gets on the air, and I tell him the story, and I ask the question. I said, John, how can I get the spirits to stick around so I have time to ask them who they are? And he goes, well, the first thing you have to do is relax, honey. I used to call everybody honey. He goes, this first thing I have to do is relax, honey. So, he knew me well enough to know that I was probably like going, because that's exactly. That's exactly what I did. And then I learned, in Circle, that you can tell spirits, no, you don't come in my bedroom, because you're always in control. And I learned that when I went and I told Judith Rochester about it, and she said, Virginia, she was so sweet. I love her so much. She goes, Virginia, you're always in control. You can just tell the spirits and mean it when you say it. You're not allowed in the bathroom. You're not allowed in the bedroom. You can tell them.
Yeah.
And so that's
I just tell them that I'm closed tonight. You can't come.
Yeah. And but we have great stories to tell people.
It's an interesting life.
You had a spirit with didn't have any legs. I mean, that's so funny.
It's just, I don't see them all the time, but I do.
I don't see them all the time either.
But they do come around, and they do show themselves, and so it's like I'm not surprised at anything. The only thing that still surprises me to this day is when I smell items that are not anywhere near me.
What do you mean by that? Like when you smell lilacs or something like that?
Right.
Yeah, that's when my grandmother's around. I smell lilacs.
Yeah, so I'll smell it, and then I can. It drives me crazy because sometimes I'll be walking down the street, and I smell cigarette smoke, and I'll turn around and there's nobody behind me.
Oh. it's a good thing that we're calm people. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I mean, really. I mean, this would like give us
It's like,
a
where
heart
did this come from?
I mean, we could have
There's
we could have heart attacks, or thinking we're being, ready to be attacked, and
Yep.
all kinds of things, going on. Really, yeah. But I'll get the lilac smell, and I know that my grandmother's
Right.
around. And I'll get smells sometimes when I'm giving a reading, and I know
Yes.
somebody's,
Yep.
that the spirit smoked or whatever,
Right.
But my favorite type of spirits were pipe smokers. You don't get, you don't.
Oh,
see,
yeah,
You don't see many people
but
smoking pipes today.
I know, and you can tell that pipe tobacco scent is different than the others.
Right. Now, what would you say about a red person?
Somebody that's all red is danger zone.
Really interesting.
Right. If you're all red, even though red is energetic and has some positive things, but if you're all red, you're running, it's like a thermometer at the top. You're gonna burn out really fast.
Would that be like an A personality?
Yes. I once did a reading for a young woman who was only 22 years old. She was going to finish her doctorate degree the following week. She had the actual reading.
Of a dissertation.
Yes.
She was a fast burner, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, that was the whole thing. She was, and I said, you really need to take a vacation. And she had just come back from a vacation. And she was burning the candle as fast as she could. And she had been doing this since she was 17.
Wow.
Because she got through. Got to figure how long it takes to get a doctorate, how long it takes to do all these different things.
She got promoted.
So she just boom, 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 boom.
Before her time, yeah. That's what they do sometimes with exceptionally bright people.
Right.
It's not a good idea because their emotions.
It was just going to burn her out.
And she told you she had just come back from a vacation,
Yeah.
and she was like, "Whoa."
She had always been super intense. Her mother was there, and her mother said that she'd always been super intense kid, and she always worried about her having a heart attack. And I said, well, I can understand that.
Oh, your daughter's here.
Oh, hi. Hi. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. She's blowing us kisses.
Yes, that's sweet.
The computer savvy person that she is.
Yes, she is. She's really good at that.
Yeah. She did your website, I noticed.
Yes, she did.
When you suggested
Yes.
I look at your website, I saw that she did your website.
Yeah, we sat
Very
down
nice.
and worked on that.
Love you too. She's so funny.
Yeah.
Good. She's so happy in Colorado, I understand. I want you to know, Sarah, that I was in Colorado when I was in the military. I was in Denver, and I was in Colorado Springs, and
Of course, Colorado Springs.
and I
Great brewery there.
and I hiked in the Rockies, and I did all that. I just loved it there. In fact, I was trying to elongate my stay, and they were calling me in, going, "What happened? You?" Because I was going boom, 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 and all of a sudden I went, "Why am I rushing through this education? I love it here. I love it here. I'm just gonna slow it down a little bit." And they were like suspicious. Yeah. So Sarah, I'm so glad you joined us. Thank you. So now, orange people are creative. That goes with the
Right. Orange people are very creative. Just pure oranges are, again, they are always been exuberant. They're easy to get along with people. They're enthusiastic. They've got confidence. They're highly creative. And that's why they have a tendency to go into the tech fields.
Oh.
Because it's creative.
It is. And a lot of artists lost their jobs because of computer art. For example, I was on a train once to Chicago, and I met this artist that he used to go into boardrooms, and he would draw the ideas. Well, they can do it all with computers now, and if you're not tech savvy, you can't do it.
Right.
But But orange people with the orange aura, they often walk to the beat of a different drummer.
Yep. Because they're kind of in their own realm, because they're always in their heads working on doing the next neat project.
Neat. Now, what about yellow people?
Yellow people are happy, easy to get along with. They're like, and nothing really bothers them. I call them the Teflons, because
I want to
nothing
be yellow.
nothing bothers them. The only thing that bothers them, again, and they can do anything. They're really smart. The Sunnies, yeah, that's what I call them, the Sunnies. They are so easy to get along with, and they always work to do their highest and their best. They can do anything. They have a tendency to really like science, though.
Really? Sunnies do?
Yeah, Sunnies like science. And it's like, even if they're not in a science field, they have a tendency to go down wormholes and rabbit holes when they come up on a news feed. Oh, here's a new dinosaur. Zoom. They'll go down and they'll just keep checking on everything. But that's a trait for Sunnies. A lot of my Sunny clients are in the field of sciences.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so now I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so your auras reflect your skills and traits.
Yes.
Okay, so now, but if you know your aura, it can help you with your life choices.
Right.
And help you with,
Right.
planning out your future and whatever.
Right.
Can it help you figure out your purpose in life?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, because
This is good information to have.
right,
Because there's so many people don't know why they're here.
right. Well, if you're, I'll take us because we're blues and greens. So if you're a blue and a green, because you've been doing it since you were a little kid. I don't know how many people there are blues and greens that could come home from school crying because so-and-so was bullying somebody else and they didn't know how to address it. So they would be, and then they would cry. Really, they would have a hard time when animals would die.
Right.
And it's because they're the nurturing type of personality.
It's true.
So it's not something that just happens now. It's something they've always done ever since they've been a little kid.
That's what the souls,
Right.
And it's true. When I look at my life, people coming to me for advice. When I lived on the west side of Buffalo, they used to call me the Shrink.
Yeah.
That was my nickname because people would ring my doorbell. It was like, really? It was but when people come to you for advice, they come to you for
Right.
advice because they're intuitively sent.
Right.
They don't know why they're in front of you for advice.
No. Sarah just said she's laughing because that's me, blue, green, and sunny.
Blue, green, and sunny. There you go. All right.
Yeah, that's Sarah.
Yeah. So people getting this information about their auras can help them find out their purpose in their lives.
Correct. I used to work with when I was in Michigan, I used to work with a therapist. She was a holistic therapist, and she, through one of her clients, found out about me and had me doing aura readings. And I did aura readings for her, some of her clients, because once they understood that this was just the way they were and didn't stop trying to put a square in a round circle, they went, oh, so if I change things to this way, then I won't be as stressed.
Right.
So it was used as a therapeutic tool.
Interesting. And if you have this information about your aura fields, you can also you'll have a better handle on how to insert yourself into a workplace.
Right.
I mean, it's just endless how this can help you.
Right. I work have another job, and what I do, it's still service oriented.
Yes,
And
it is.
if I had to go in, a matter of fact, I tried to do a job that was more oriented towards, it was still service, but yet it was more oriented towards stamping. It's basically approving something, stamping it, proving something, stamping it, and making sure all the I's and T's were dotted in it. I couldn't do that. It was just too rigid.
Right. Right.
Now, some of these other colors wouldn't have bothered them,
You're right.
but me, it bothered me. And it would bother you too.
Right. It's funny, when you were talking about that, I was talking about a job that I had once where I was a test giver, and I had to correct the test, and that's all I did was give the test and correct the test. No talking, no
Yep.
teaching, no nothing. Just gave the test. It was an assessment, so you didn't teach anything.
Right.
You just explained how to take the test. That was it. And then I corrected the test. And I used to walk to work from after I parked my car in downtown Buffalo. I would walk to work, and the tears would be falling down my face.
Just couldn't do it.
And I was paid very well for that job, very well. And other people thought, well, you're making X amount of dollars an hour. This is a great job. And I'd say, no, it's not. Not for me, it's not.
No.
It's not a good fit. I can't do it.
Yeah. I took a job before I got to the one I have now, and I made it through a week of training and just said, I'm not happy doing this. This isn't good. This isn't for me. And it would have been, a great job. Had a lot of benefits and everything, but it just wasn't good for me. And I just said, no. So I told him, it's not a fit. I'm not wasting your time and money. It's not a fit.
So I have this great little notebook. This is my podcast notebook. So it says here about it can help you in relationships, friendships.
Yeah.
It's limitless in other contexts to be valued, helpful, and fulfilled. And it basically helps your auras, once you have a handle on this information,
Right.
It helps you make sense of life.
Yes, and it's really interesting because
People need this type of information.
Right. So if you're a blue and a green, you have a tendency to, like I said, you really don't want to do a lot. You kind of want to sit at home. And so if you're in a relationship with a person who is got some yellow in them, the yellow person who's is the Energizer Bunny will say, come on, let's go do something, and get you up and get you moving. Otherwise, you might find yourself just sitting at home reading or doing whatever and not wanting to go anywhere. And in my relationship, my partner does that. I mean, he goes, no, come on, I think it's time for us to go do something.
Is that what he says? Is that what he says? Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I have there, okay, your auras can tell a story to everyone we meet through our energy.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Okay, and it helps you write a narrative for what you want in your life through the unique energy that surrounds you. Okay. This is now choices made in auric alignment. Oh, you know what I want to talk to you about before we only have like 4 more minutes.
Oh.
But I want to talk. What do you know about aura cleansing? There's a lot of people saying that they can cleanse auras. What do you think about this?
Maybe your outside aura that I don't deal with.
But not your soul aura.
Nope. Your soul aura is what you got, and you got to work with that and stay within the bounds of that.
So, like you can have holes in your everyday aura.
Yeah.
And you can cleanse it through meditation, sage, stuff like that.
Yes.
Stuff like that. Now, before we end this call, I want people to know how they can find you again. Bunny Dupois.
Right.
Spell it for them.
It's BUNNYDUP as in Paul, UIS as in Sam, Dupois.
.com.
.com.
And what's your? And they can make the appointments right on your website.
Yes, they can.
Now, are you going to be in any psychic fairs coming up? Because I know you just finished one, so you might want to take a rest.
Well, I'm going to be at the Witches' Ball at the Psychic Lounge.
And Mason's coming. Mason Winfield's
Mason,
coming in
wonderful
October.
Mason, right.
He's going to be here next month.
And then I'll be down in Salamanca. There is a Paracon going on down in Salamanca that's put on by Wildwood Sanatorium. And it's for, the money raised there is for suicide
Prevention. Wonderful, wonderful.
It's called the Hope Paracon.
Beautiful.
And it's at the beautiful Native American lacrosse center.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I'll be doing that. And there's a few other things that pop up in here and there, but yeah, I'm
All right.
a busy person.
Okay, now I just want to tell our viewers that Mason Winfield, who produces the Witches' Ball, and
he produces the Psychic Lounge.
The Psychic Lounge.
Yes.
Oh, so there's a difference here.
Yeah, he's involved with them, but he does the Psychic Lounge.
See, I was told he does the Witches' Ball.
He might be part of that group.
He's part of that group because he invited me last year.
Right. But he does the Psychic Lounge.
The Psychic Lounge.
There's 10 of us that do readings or tarot or whatever.
At the Witches' Ball.
Correct.
Right. Okay, so Bunny's going to be at the Witches' Ball, and Mason Winfield's going to be here the first Thursday of October, and he used to do ghost tours
Yes.
as well. So he's got a lot to talk about.
He's a
paranormal.
wonderful, wonderful man.
A lot of paranormals. And this Saturday from 10 to 3, I'll be at 964 Kenmore Avenue, a little mini fair at the Sage Center, so I'll be there. And hopefully we can get Bunny back maybe in November before the snow comes. So hopefully. And so you can do aura readings over the phone. I want to make
Yes.
sure everybody understands what
Yes,
you
I can do aura readings over the phone. I can do healings over the phone. I can do pretty much anything because it's all vibrational. It's all different zones.
Beautiful. Okay, and so I'm going to be doing the sound bath on November 19th at the Sage Center at 964 Kenmore Avenue. And you can also book me at Virginia McIntyre, MCINTYRE, Virginia like the state.com. Book me for an evidential psychic medium reading at any time. And I think we should fade to black. It's thank you so much, Bunny.
Quite all right. Thank you for having me here.
It was a pleasure. I had so much fun. And thank you to Richard.
Yes, Richard, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. And so we're going to say goodnight. We're going to fade to black. This is Illuminating Forward, the podcast. We love you. Peace out.
Bye.